So last week we had orcs versus humankind. Now I am just a mere mortal. I do not understand games the way our friend Avery does. He is beyond belief, and he's refused to tell me exactly what he has in store for us this week. So let's all find out together. It's a big surprise.
Hey, Avery Score here, and welcome to another titillating episode of the Gamer Station, where this week we're taking an in-depth look at the latest iteration of one of my favorite action series of all time, Devil May Cry, of course. Now, we got a new developer taking up the Dante mantle, Ninja Theory. They did Enslaved. If you played that, it's pretty darn good. And this game is quite excellent as well. It's a gritty reboot of the Devil May Cry series, and it's quite difficult to do a gritty reboot of a bunch of characters that are already gritty and sport a wide variety of boots. But they have done just that, and to great effect. They've distilled down the Devil May Cry series to the core essentials that make it so great, and they just sort of repeat that over and over again. This time around, Dante has lost the sort of trademark silvery hair, though it does come on at a few key moments as a kind of visual joke and nod to fans such as myself of the story series. And the Limbo, by the way, is a place where you spend most of the game in between our world and the worlds of heaven and hell. It's the kind of place where anything is possible. Walls can move and dance, and bridges can break and crumble, and even these sort of platforms can be suspended above the void. So the Limbo provides not only all the enemies in the game, but a lot of the kind of platforming puzzles as well. Now, Dante has an enormous host of moves at his disposal. It's truly insane. You think that you're dealing with your full arsenal, and then the game just keeps throwing new weapons at you. You can change weapons using the directional pad from your already available arsenal, and you have angelic powers and demonic powers. This is because while Dante is once again the son of Sparta, as he always is, he's also the son of Eve, who's this sort of, or Eva rather, who's this sort of angel that married Sparta in this forbidden wedding, and Dante is the fruit of that union called a Nephilim. This Nephilim phenomenon seems to be quite a big deal in video games. There are Nephilims just everywhere right now. In Diablo 3, you're also a Nephilim, although they can't seem to agree on what exactly that is. Anyway, it doesn't matter. What you are is super over-the-top powerful. Both in your angelic and demonic size, you have whips that can draw enemies closer to you or pull off their shields. You have huge axes. Of course, you've got your signature Rebellion sword. And you've got the gauntlets that you probably saw in Devil May Cry 4. In terms of difficulty, this is a little lighter in that sphere than in perhaps previous iterations of the series, with the exception of Devil May Cry 2, which was a cakewalk. So it's quite a bit easier than, say, Devil May Cry 3 or 4, but still there's a good level of difficulty. You feel like you're having some degree of challenge, and certainly if you pump up the game to the harder modes, then you'll get that kind of challenge that you're looking for. The gameplay in this game is done so well and done so competently that it's very difficult to fault it. It's marred perhaps by a few technical issues. Sometimes when you're dealing with a large enemy, the camera will become unwieldy exactly at the wrong moment. There are some frame rate drop issues when you're surrounded with a lot of enemies, and this doesn't happen very often and more typically happens in cutscenes. But in general, the gameplay is something that you're going to want to try for yourself. It's absolutely terrific. It's everything that you could want from an action game. And when you really achieve a high level of play in this game and a high level of mastery, you feel almost like a concert pianist, where your fingers are just flying across the controller, perhaps cramping up, but you don't feel it in the heat of the action. There are few games that can boast this kind of connection to the character, connection to what's happening on screen, where it all kind of dissolves for you and becomes this transformative experience. It is really, truly incredible and very well done. The graphics are actually quite technically proficient as well. Ninja Theory's done a terrific job here. Most of the game looks spectacular, especially the cutscenes, which often are quite hilarious, both visually and in terms of the dialogue, which is delivered even-handedly and is generally quite well acted. There are familiar characters in this game. You've got Dante, you've got his brother Virgil, although the dynamic between the two is probably unlike anything you've ever seen. Virgil's the one who gives Dante back his memory and kind of gives him a purpose. Mundus is a name that you'll hear again, although he's now a sort of titan of Empire / demon who consorts with an evil creature called Lilith, and you've got to take them out. The similarities really stop there, though, in terms of this game and previous entries in the Devil May Cry series. The plot is quite different and quite unlike that of the previous games. You've additionally got a new character called Kat, who's kind of the main romantic, shall we say, interest for Dante. She's a mortal who escaped an abusive stepfather who happened to be a demon by slipping into the limbo and is therefore one of the most knowledgeable people to be guiding Dante through its depths. This game, all in all, is probably one of the best I've played in recent memory. If it had come out a month earlier, I absolutely would have given it Game of the Year for 2012. It's quite early in 2013, so we're going to have to see yet, but I will tell you this: if you're a fan of action games, a fan of the Devil May Cry series, or if you just are a fan of having fun on your console, absolutely pick up this game immediately. It's a terrific play, it's worth the money, it will provide you with hours of enjoyment, it may even change your life. I'm Avery Score, and this was the Gamer Station.
Big shout out to Kafia Coffee for having us. It's been a real pleasure the past 2 weeks. Next week, though, we got Windows 8 Ultrabook. Really looking forward to taking a look at that bad boy, plus other exciting things here on Gadget Nation. Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, find us there for anything you've missed out on. My name is Adam Carruthers. Until next time.